Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome here to the launch pad, or maybe good afternoon or evening, depending where you're joining us from. You are looking at a live view of Launch Complex 201 at the Wenchang Space Launch Site in China, where we are counting down now just over 19 and a half minutes till launch of a Long March 7, launching a cargo resupply spacecraft to the Tiangong 1 space station. On board today's flight is China's first, Tiangong 1 is China's first prototype space station, which will be expanded over the next couple of years as well. But you're looking there at a live view. Propellant loading has been underway for many hours as they prepare for today's flight. We saw the doors retract away from around the vehicle over the last couple of hours, and as we were running that intro, we saw a few of the orange arms retract away from the vehicle as well, just continuing to show that today's vehicle launch vehicle and spacecraft are ready to go. If it's your first time here, though, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the founder and host here at the Launchpad. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, and share out the stream. Invite people to join us for what's a rare look into the live coverage look into the China space industry. We're glad to have you here. Take a moment, also let us know where you're watching from in the chat. We'd love to give some shout outs there. Fry Denkin, thank you so much for becoming a suborbital explorer. We appreciate you. D has been a member for 10 months as a Martian explorer. Thank you. Saying good day from Australia. It's great to have you. We got Timothy watching from Montgomery, Alabama. Great to have you here. Thanks so much. Yeah, take a moment. Let us know where you're watching from in the chat. You can see there we are 19 minutes and counting till launch. So we're going to just update our T0 clock here. It's a China launch, so there isn't as much details as we're used to for these launches, being able to link that T0. So bear with me just a moment while I sync those clocks for you. But as always, if you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad, and we'll work on answering those live to the best of our ability, and we'll listen in to the live mission control sounds here in just a moment to hear the latest in updates as we continue towards today's flight attempt. Just a reminder, if you're sending in those questions, make sure that you're sending them in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad. Makes it a little bit easier for us to be able to see those questions come in. And there we go. That countdown clock should be resynced. I do want to make note to the message that is above me. YouTube does put disclaimers on launches that have coverage provided by China government agencies. These feeds are coming in from CCTV Plus, which is funded by the Chinese government. So it does have that disclaimer that will be flashing on and off above my head. On the right side of your screen, that's a live view on board the Tiangong Station, where the crew is eagerly awaiting to watch this vehicle fly, bringing them up a resupply. This cargo ship has several notable differences from the Tiangong Station, which it's derived from. It only has 3 segments of solar panels against the regular 4, but it has 4 maneuvering engines rather than the regular 2. Classically, the Tianzhou space freighter consists of 2 subassemblies: the service module, which provides the propulsion engineering systems, as well as various equipment necessary for operation of the spacecraft, and the orbital module. The service module is similar to the service module of Tiangong 1, with some modifications: a large number of propellant tanks, and a more powerful propulsion system. The module is 3.3 meters long and has a diameter of 2.8 meters. The main propulsion used for the orbital is now 4 rocket engines, giving 490 newtons of thrust. The cargo module itself is 5 meters long, and it's a basic pressurized bunker to transport cargo, and it has 15 cubic meters worth of space, and we'll be able to connect there. It has 4 pipelines that'll connect onto the station as well to transfer fluids on board, and can carry up to 13,000 kilograms of total mass. Lots of people just tuning in. We got Jason Lee in western Iowa. We got Ayushi in India. Sorry if I said that wrong. Productives in Colorado. Great to have you here. We got Nunn in Amsterdam, Holland. River is in Asheville, Ashevale, sorry if I'm saying that wrong, in North Carolina. David's in Toronto. We got Eric in Kentucky. I'm Zawar is in Pakistan. Dirtfoot is in a chilly Florida. Great to have you here. Martin is in Sweden. We got Angie in Massachusetts Hill. We got William in Fremont, California. We got Helmond in Chechia, hope I'm saying that right. Glad to have you all joining us here today. If you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. You're looking at a live view of Launch Complex 201 at the Wenchang Space Launch Center in China, and a Long March 7 launch vehicle. This is the first launch of this vehicle of 2024 and the 14th launch of this vehicle in its operational history. Believe it or not, we are already at the 13th orbital launch attempt of 2024. We've had a couple days break there, but things are going to start picking up through the rest of the month. Today was supposed to be a triple launch day for those that were counting along, but Rocket Lab's Electron rocket has been delayed about a week to 10 days. They're wanting some more time to prepare the vehicle, as well as they're watching some incoming weather. So the Electron, a 4-of-a-kind mission, is now targeting Friday, January 26th, so we hope you will join us for back here on that day. But we do have double launch day today. First, this launch from China to their Chinese space station, and later today we will be watching the third private Axiom space crew launch aboard a SpaceX Crew Dragon and Falcon 9, launching their third private ISS crew, Axiom 3, and we hope you'll join us back here for that. That liftoff time scheduled 5:11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're also counting down, of course, to another Starlink tomorrow, and later this month, Galactic 6, one of the final Virgin Galactic flights of their current generation of vehicles, so we hope you'll join us for that. So we look to round out the month with a Falcon 9 launching from Slick 40 at Cape Canaveral, carrying a cargo resupply to the International Space Station as well, and we'll hopefully be bringing you live launch coverage of that on location as I'm heading back down to the Space Coast. If you haven't yet, take a moment, head over to the community section here on YouTube. We got a poll running. We want to know, we're thinking about holding a TLP kind of winter meetup on the Space Coast. We got 3 date options. We want to hear from you guys which one would work out the best if you were able to actually attend and get to the Space Coast to attend. But we're glad to have you all here with us. Lots of people still just jumping in. Johan is from South Africa. Great to see you. Jamie is in Puerto Rico. Westcott's in Colorado. We got Cohen in Australia. Michael is in Knoxville, Tennessee. Truly amazing. So many countries are in the house, in the stream here this morning. It's a bright and early one for us here at the TLP Canada studio, but we're glad to have you all joining us here, and I think the chat just really proves that space is better together, and we're glad to have you all here. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage the like button, share out the stream. It really does help the stream out. T-minus 13 minutes, 6 seconds and counting till launch of today's vehicle, Tianzhou 7. Say right off the bat, I'm probably going to say a few words wrong here today, and appreciate you bearing with me as we do so. The first version of Tianzhou 1 was launched on a Long March 7 on April 20th, 2017, and demonstrated an autonomous propellant transfer, or space refueling, and this is Tianzhou 7. The vehicle today, the Long March 7, is not a reusable vehicle, so it will be crashing into the sea there, and hopefully not onto any land, but this is not one of those vehicles that we have to worry about the core stage coming back unre-entered, but we do have some of those looking that they'll launch later this year, so keep an eye out for those. Today's vehicle has 4 strap-on boosters. The fairing is a 4.2 meter in diameter, and it's a 2-stage vehicle. In total, the vehicle is 53.1 meters tall, and the fairing is 12.4 of those. And you can see that fairing part, the very top of the vehicle, where it starts to flare out in width. It flares out there to allow the space for the Tianzhou 7 spacecraft. T-minus 11 minutes, 45 seconds, and counting. Continuing to watch and listen into some of the updates that are coming in through the live feed here from China through CCTV. Just want to make sure, there we go, make sure we get that audio patched in here for you guys. There hasn't been a lot that's been coming through it, but there has been a little bit, so we'll hear some of those callouts as they continue to count down towards a liftoff attempt here. If you're trying to ask a question, make sure you send that in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. So a couple of people asking, how do you get the feed out of China? So there are a couple news networks in China that do broadcast these feeds out to media to be able to use, so that we are able to share those with you. They are funded by the Chinese government, so it's generally why we don't put the commentary stream on for our hosted coverage. Is just, you never, one, I don't know what they're saying, I don't speak Mandarin and Cantonese, and two, these are China government launches. So we're here to watch the rocket launch. That's the exciting part to see, and hopefully we'll get another live view on board the Tiangong Station. We did, on a previous launch attempt, actually get to see the crew watching the vehicle launch on their screens, so it'll be interesting to see if we can see that here today. Liam Oldcroft, why did they go for such a big launch tower? It's a really great question. So this tower doesn't actually, it looks big now, but what you're seeing is actually all of the doors that have swung open from around the launch vehicle. So those big gray panels on the far side. Now there's that T-minus 10-minute announcement as they continue into the final bits of today's count. But those big silver gray panel pieces are actually the front panels that would, for a lack of better, let's see. This is not a China rocket, it's a Proton rocket, but basically the door would be my hand, and on both sides it closes in like this. So what you see is those are flared out. So that's why it looks so much wider for it. But what it does is they give full access to the entire surrounding of their vehicle. All of those doors are different levels of access panels, so you actually get access. It's actually something a lot of people wish we had for the Space Launch System. With all of the issues that we had with it during Artemis 1's wet dress rehearsals and needing to access places, if we were to have a pad like this, one, we could protect it more if hurricanes came without having to roll back, and two, you'd actually be able to have more access to it out on the pad as well. It's somewhat similar to Shuttle, where they had the big door that could come over, and they could actually access into the cargo bay when they were out there. So that's why it looks so big. It's still a chunky structure compared to what we're used to, but it gives them a lot of access. But it's also where they launch their crew missions, I believe, from as well. So they have lots of access to be able to get into those crew areas and those white rooms. T-minus 8 minutes, 30 seconds and counting till launch. Catching up on the chat. If you guys have questions, you can send those in by tagging us at the launch pad, and we'll work on answering those live. This is the 6th resupply mission going up to the Chinese Tiangong Space Station. William, thank you so much for that super chat. I appreciate that. That goes into helping us expand our coverage, and we appreciate it. Woofy, are those boosters SRBs or liquid fuel? If they're liquid, are they hypergolic? This rocket, the rocket sure got the more boosters notice. Those are, I want to double check, but I believe those are solid rocket boosters. Give me one moment just to confirm that. As we don't get to cover a lot of these, I don't have those ones all totally memorized, but I do believe the boosters are solid. They are not. They are RP1 and liquid oxygen on those boosters. The first stage is also RP1. The first and second stage are also RP1 and liquid oxygen. If they were to do a third stage, it would have LH2 and liquid oxygen on board. So, correction there. They are actually liquid. They will burn for a maximum of 300 seconds sea level, 335 seconds vacuum. And those are 89 feet tall. So, very large boosters that are liquid. So thanks for sending that in. Appreciate that. Learning something new every day. Ditio, will the boosters drop on land or ground, or will they drop the boosters land on the ground or the ocean? I believe these ones will crash onto land based on the fact of where they're launching from. but hopefully they won't land anywhere that is too big of an issue. Hendrik, any updates on Peregrine? We do have our live tracker going on for that. We are counting down just over 1 day and 4 hours until T-minus 6 minutes and counting until the estimated reentry of Peregrine. We expect to get a couple more updates throughout today to help narrow down that reentry time zone and location. So make sure you head over to that tracker to stay updated on that. If you're just joining us, though, welcome here to the launch pad. You're looking at a live view inside the Wenchang Space Launch Center Mission Control, where teams are preparing to launch a Long March 7 vehicle carrying the Tianzhou 7 spacecraft, a 6th cargo resupply mission up to the Tiangong Space Station. T-minus 5 minutes, 25 seconds, and counting till launch. Everything continuing to look nominally, and the countdown seeming to proceed smoothly. We have not had any delays or updates come from today's launch since it was on the launch schedule, so they are proceeding very well. That's one thing you see with a lot of China launches. Very rarely do we see a lot of delays, for the good or the bad. T-minus 5 minutes and counting till launch. Woofy, if China has such a nice southerly east coast like Hainan, why do they launch in places where boosters drop on land? Where exactly are they launching from? We'll work on trying to get some maps brought into future launch streams to show you where these pads are, because that's a really great comment, and we'll try to bring that up here in the near future for it. But it all depends on where the government decided to launch. A lot of these are government launch sites for it, so that's where they do decide. Catching up on today's pad, it is on an island in Hainan. In China. It was a suborbital test center, and it serves as China's 4th and southernmost spaceport as they prepare for flight. So there is water off in the distance. It's night, so it's a little bit harder to see it. So they are launching on one of their coasts, but there are obviously lots of land and different things after the coastline that they can still drop on. But they do have some interior launch sites as well. So it all depends on where they need to launch from, what vehicle they're launching, and things like that. T-minus 3 minutes, 40 seconds, and counting till launch. I'm Zawar. Is there a CubeSat too? We don't have a full breakdown of everything that's on board today's vehicle. I know there's a little bit of information floating out there. Obviously, lots of food, water, oxygen, things like that. But it's very possible that they have CubeSats like we send up to the International Space Station all the time. So very likely we have something like that. As we come down to T-minus 3 minutes, 15 seconds and counting, as always, take a moment and let's see that go, no go in the chat here on YouTube. If you're a TLP member, you get access to those custom TLP emojis. Also, with the countdown getting down to the final count, there's T-minus 3 minutes. At the T-minus 1 minute mark, I'm going to pull our countdown clock down because we will be within a couple of seconds of theirs, and we'll just listen into the sights and sounds of today's launch. If you haven't yet, take a moment, share it the stream, invite people to join us as we're in the final minutes of the count. If you're just joining us, you're looking at a live view of Launch Complex 201 in the fairing portion of the Long March 7, preparing to launch the Tianzhou 7 spacecraft, serving a 6th cargo resupply mission up to the Tiangong Space Station, China's space station in low Earth orbit. T-minus 2 minutes, 20 seconds, and counting till launch. You're hearing some background chatter possibly through my mic. That's actually communications with the International Space Station as they are preparing for the arrival of crew AX-3, Axiom Space's third private ISS crew. T-minus 2 minutes and counting till launch of today's Long March 7. Everything continuing to look normal for today's liftoff sequence. T-minus 90 seconds. You can see more of those support structures and propellant arms retracting away from the Long March 7. T-minus 70 seconds and counting. Final pad preparations are underway at Launch Complex 201 for the launch of Long March 7. T-minus 60 seconds. We're going to pull our countdown clock down here and listen into the live sights and sounds for today's flight. Approximately T-minus 45 seconds and counting till launch.
40秒。
We'll work on syncing our countdown so we can have that back up and running during flight. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. T-minus 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10.
9、8、7、6、5、4、3、2、1，点火！点火！1210更正常。文昌光学雷达更正常，遥测向正常。文昌。
And if you're just joining us, you're looking at a Long March 7 launch vehicle that has just launched from the Wenchang Launch Center from Launch Complex 201. Looking at a side view of those 2 of the 4 strap-on liquid boosters as they continue through flight. T-plus 90 seconds into flight, carrying today's Tianzhou 7 spacecraft, a cargo resupply up to the Tiangong Space Station. We'll continue to listen in to Mission Control for the vital counts throughout the flight.
阵地315更正常。文昌光学雷达更正常，遥测向正常，文昌飞行正常。同步岭遥测向正常。3117更正常。文昌光学雷达更正常，遥测向正常，文昌飞行正常。阵地128更正常。助力器关机，助力器分离。1级关机，1级分离。 西沙313更正常，抛整流罩。临水3901更正常。文昌光学雷达更正常，遥测信号正常，文昌飞行正常。3117更正常。西沙424更正常。文昌雷达更正常，遥测信号正常，文昌飞行正常。西沙313更正常。临水3901更正常。文昌雷达更正常，遥测信号正常，文昌飞行正常。3117更正常。西沙424更正常。文昌雷达更正常，遥测信号正常，文昌飞行正常。西沙313更正常。 西沙424更入正常。文昌雷达更入正常，遥测信号正常，文昌飞行正常。2级固定发动机关机。2级摆动发动机关机。船舰分离。
And you can see there on your screen successful separation of the Tianzhou 7 spacecraft from the Long March 7's second stage, 10 minutes, 38 seconds into flight. And you can see the thrusters coming online there, and that vehicle is now on its way to the Tiangong Space Station. We'll bring you updates via our social media as it continues its journey towards their station. But that is the first of 2 launches today, not 3. One was delayed about a week, with Electron now targeting the 27th, 28th of January for launch to allow more time for checkouts. But we hope you'll join us back here later today for the launch of Axiom Space's third private crew mission to the International Space Station, targeting 5:11 p.m. Eastern Time for launch. We'll be providing live launch coverage from about the 2-hour mark, just a little bit before that, counting down to launch of that crew. And we've got our TLP rocket chasers down across the Space Coast as well. I know some of them are out at the site getting ready by the pad here right now, and some will be heading out a little bit later to bring you some live videos and photos on our social media from sites around the Space Coast. That's going to do it for our live coverage of Tianzhou 7. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe so you never miss another live launch coverage, docking, undocking, or return to Earth. Tianzhou 7 is now on its way to the Tiangong Space Station, bringing a resupply of oxygen, food, water, and other propellants needed on board, as well as scientific experiments and more up to the station. This is the 6th cargo resupply. But from our TLP Canada studio, my name's Zach, and we'll see you later for AX3, because space is better together. We'll see you then.